getting a little philosophical. I don't like it getting too philosophical. I had a great dialogue with a bro about this over text and like voice notes. And he was like, dude, Baba never says that there is anything, he never validates ownership. And I was like, okay, but Baba said that we are his. And I was just kind of like, I was going from the angle of, actually, there is only ownership, and that is in God's hands. As in, whoever created this universe and does all the moving of all the bricks in every human being and decides all the fates and this and that, he's the owner. Like, ultimately, true selfishness is God. Amend that statement to, ultimately, true selfishness is one step away from God. As in, like, the whole universe, and then there's God. But the master architect, I think what I'm coming to now is that the master architect cannot have owned anything and does not own anything. That he or she is not the owner by the very nature of it. The very nature of this universe is that it's free. And the very nature of love is that it's empty. It's crystalline. It's pure. There's nobody in the center telling you that I'm the owner. I did it all. So, I guess actually, what I was speaking about was property, and I recognize the difference between ownership and property. Finally, but I'm recognizing ownership as the things that I'm here on this earth, which I rely on to live. I could say the things that are mine, but that would actually be a lie. Because to truly, unless I want to delude myself in clinging and craving, it's better to see it as just my sustenance for my earthly physical body, but to understand that my spirit is unownable, is untamable, is untouchable. And so there really isn't any ownership. So property. What is property? Property is where I'm sitting right now. Property is what I'm wearing. It's all borrowed from that eternal essence of all, but it's not like borrowed from another individualized Atman. It's borrowed from creation itself, which is life-giving and life-sustaining, and is more like is kind and forgiving. Nature is like, here, take it for as long as you need it. And so property is just this kindness of Mother Earth and Father Sky, giving us a roof over our head and a body to house our soul and our heart, and clothing to cover our body, and a house and land and garden and children and a partner and animals and all these things. They make our life coherent, so we can go outside and we can give our body sustenance, so we can go build a house with the mud and the hay, and so we can drink the milk, so we can have fertile ground for our plants, and when something comes in contact with that, now again, so where's the edge of what is our property? And I feel like this is where a lot of times it's really hard to take this as far as we can, realizing that property doesn't have an end, it doesn't have an edge. There are no straight lines in nature. You can't draw a line like, yeah, this is where my property begins and this is where it ends. It's fuzzy. There's the three-dimensional arc realities of hey, don't touch me. That's pretty easy to understand from a human being. But animals wouldn't get it. So, it's really helpful to remember that a lot of times property has to do with how the natural world works more than how some spelt out world works. It's better to start with the natural world. How does property work between one tree and another tree? And you find that, actually they don't conspire against each other. They just work together because they don't have conflicting agendas. They both want to live. That's not a conflicting agenda. However, the modern world would say on paper that is a conflicting agenda and that we can't all live on this earth together, when it's clear that God put us all on this earth together to live. No questions asked. I don't feel like that's hard to understand unless, there's an idea, an entity of want. Sure, maybe we can't have all the things that we want on this earth with all the people that are here now, but that doesn't have anything to do with living life on earth. That just has to do with how you're living life on earth. So you look at the trees and they work together. Even when they're planted as a thick forest, they live together very happily. It works. So starting there with this crux of what is property is to realize that it's not a defined line of this is mine, that's yours. It can be, sometimes it can be really obvious, but if one guy lives next to the stream, the stream's coming down the hill, he's the first one on the stream, and then, you need that water, he needs the water, it's not his property. He needs it, he can claim that part of the stream, but the water just left, so you can claim the basin of the stream, but then at what point is it also the guy down the stream's property? And who could really claim ownership of flowing water? In nature, you cannot put your hands on it and say, that's mine. You can only be one with it. Sounds kind of esoteric, but when we speak about things nowadays, there's no need to sugarcoat anything. The universe is spiritual. We're not here by accident. All the ideas that have people are coming off, and what is being revealed are honest reflections of what we truly are. And that goes down to how we relate to each other. There is no such thing as this is my property, don't touch this, and then you're fine. There's no such thing as that. Everything is your problem. If you're a man on this earth right now, you realize really fast that like there's so much that you got to do in order to take care of your body, just your own body. But you take one aspect of your life that gives you the ability to live on this earth. Take your house, and you go, well, a lot of the things that made my house were very wasteful, for example. And so now you start to derive the things that you use to protect yourself from more natural sources. And you start to realize that if some guy over there is wasteful, it affects you. Maybe next generation, maybe this generation. And you start to realize is like, actually, it's all my problem. And I don't mean like start running around trying to fix everything. But I mean, if I just drew a square box around myself and said, I'm gonna live in this box with only the things in this box, it wouldn't be true. I'm not saying it wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't be true. Because, of course, it probably wouldn't be possible, because there are no straight lines in nature. Everything is moving, everything is in flux, everything is a part of everything. So, the dirt will move, the water will come from the sky. Like, it's not possible. But we have a lot of humanity doing that. Whether they'll like buy this box. Sometimes they'll buy a little apartment in a skyscraper. They own a piece of air cut out with metal and wood and insulation. And they insulate themselves as if that's theirs. But the air they breathe, and there is no getting away from our interconnectedness to all of reality, all of life. The harsh reality is very beautiful. It's a harsh one because it's like, wake up, people. You cannot isolate yourselves. You have to come together and face each other and face yourselves. There is no way out. Look, we've tried. We've tried to find our way out of it by creating cities and architecture that's completely useless, and we've isolated and like put ourselves in these crypts we've isolated different tasks to certain people who then forget how to take care of themselves and then rely on those guys way over there. And it's like it's interconnected, internationally connected, and yet we lose our sense of responsibility. And we start to, it's like, if it was all based on the honor system, then perhaps everyone would continue that connection internally of like, I need to do a good work here because it'll affect that man, whatever I say or speak or breathe. Now this is what the monks are practicing, this is what a monk, you can be a monk wherever you are. They're practicing like, everything I do, it matters. It's not an accident. It's not just, I'll throw it all around. It's like, if I throw my garbage there, the guy behind me will have to pick it up, or something will choke on it. It's the ability to collectively recognize every aspect of our lives in which we have a chain reaction effect, and that is only going to start here. you can go back and have introspection of like what I did there and say you're sorry, because that's important too for moving forward, is to be able to say I'm sorry that I affected myself and everyone around me in that way. And from now on, I'm going to be more aware of what I put into the earth. Even if it's as simple as when you drop something, you say, oh shh, and you catch yourself, you go, do I really want to, not that the word's bad, but do I really want to bring that energy out into the world? Or do I want to come to a place of peace with something that is dropped? So that kind of, I felt like going deep there into just the center, the crux of what's needed right now and what I feel is being revealed currently. It's a great gift to be on this earth right now because there's a lot of learning happening very fast. And I trust that the ones who are really willing to go into it, they'll be here a bit longer. I think the ones who are ignorant to it and really just want to resist, they will be woken up. And if those don't get woken up, and those who do get woken up, they can partake in what is to be brought down that is already here. But I say that because it's a high vibration, the new humanity. It's a high vibration, that love that can just flow so freely from one man to another man. All the brothers and sisters on this earth walking together as one nation. It's been prophesized, and it really feels to be true in my own heart that that's what's coming. And that's what's coming because it's already here. It's not a place, it's a being. It's an is. It's a fundamental. It's the crux. So we're all one nation and we are one tribe. Here to serve that peace and that harmony to each other and ourselves. To embody this gratitude for every moment, for all the gifts of this earth, and not to squander them, but to share them and take care of them as they are our own selves. And to know how to take care of our own selves is to know how to take care of everyone else and everything else around us. And I feel right now a lot of us are learning how to take care of ourselves, because that's important. If we don't know how to take care of ourselves, if we don't know how to give ourselves the space and the love and the gratitude and the gift of kindness to ourselves and our own hearts, how can we give it to others? So a lot of us are learning to be still now, to be calm and to meditate and to speak from our hearts, not just from our throats or our heads, but to speak with this sense of connection to our bodies, to our Mother Earth, to our Father Sky, and to be a beacon for that presence which needs nothing but to be here on the earth and knows each step is to be a prayer in action form, in praise for what is here, what's happening here. And I believe that's quite beautiful. I hope. Mitaka yasa.